Urban centers have always been busy, but in the last century, with the rise of industrialism and the explosion in world population, they've become something of a modern wonder. Delhi is no exception. There's a tendency to think of India as a spiritual place that's great for meditation and finding oneself. Well, Delhi is one of those places that contributes to so many people wanting to become monks, if you ask me. It's a tooth and nail fight for forward and upward mobility. It's the Wild West meets urban agglomeration meets democracy meets thousands of years of history with a constant turnover of regional and international immigrants with their own cultural assumptions. In my opinion, this melting pot often is one of the best places in the world to experience such a wide range of culture, a great place to get the pulse of 2014's statistical realities. But in summer, this melting pot becomes a pressure cooker. Many residents take vacations to escape the crush and the heat, because the crush is real. So today on American Indian, we find relief from the chaos and crush the best way we know how, discovering new things and exploring new places. We take a trip to an edict from Emperor Ashoka's reign way back in the 3rd century BC and visit a more recent structure, the Baha'i Lotus Temple, which has become a modern symbol of Delhi. Rowan begins getting into some online mischief, all that and more today on American Indian. We're an American family living in India. We love food, film, language, culture, and making new friends. Join our adventures from America to India and beyond. We have definitely had our share of the Delhi chaos, and I'm afraid I haven't handled it all that well.
It's hotter in our room right now than it was outside yesterday afternoon.
As some of you know, our car was damaged in a freak dust windstorm. A brick broke in 3 places, smashing the windshield and roof, and then a street light fell on the hood. Our refrigerator broke, and the first night after it had been repaired, the power went out only our flat at 2 in the morning, which led to a week of electricity woes that I'll get into in another video. So far, we really think that the best medicine for dealing with stress is discovery and wonder, so we tried some new adventures. Some friends of friends were traveling through, and we wanted them to experience Delhi history.
All right, so where are we going from here?
Going to the Ashoka carving thing. Ashokan Edict. Ashokan Edict.
Sorry, what was that?
It's supposed to be straight ahead on the right in a park.
The Ashokan Temple right there. This is a happening place, man. Whitey 5-0's all over here. After you, sir. This is not the Ashokan Edict. 273 to 236 BC. Translation: nothing is allowed.
Ashoka was an emperor from North India who ruled in the 3rd century BC. After his conquests, he was overcome with the horrors of war and became a Buddhist. This particular edict was one of a series of rocks placed throughout North India, meant to encourage people to follow Buddhism with greater dedication.
What does it actually say?
It says,
Since we can't read the script or even discern it.
Ashoka says, "It is 2.5 years since I became a Buddhist layman. At first, no great exertion was made by me, but in the last year I have drawn closer to the Buddhist order and exerted myself zealously, and drawn in others to mingle with the gods. This goal is not one restricted only to the great, but even a humble man who exerts himself can reach heaven. This proclamation is made for the following purpose: to encourage the humble and the great to exert themselves and to let the people who live beyond the borders of the kingdom know about it. Exertion in the cause must endure forever, and it will spread further among the people so that it increases 1.5-fold.
For us, it was a historical visit, but for an elderly woman who had to be assisted up the slippery metal grate leading up to the edict, it meant far more. From the top of the rocky hill beside the edict, you can see the tall buildings of Nehru Place, so it makes a nice little photo spot. Speaking of Nehru Place, there's a nice field near the Ashokan Temple where people congregate in the evenings. A nice place and time to relax in the hot season. We still have not been inside the Ashokan Temple yet, but we did finally make it inside the Baha'i Lotus Temple, which has become one of Delhi's most quintessential landmarks.
One of my least favorite things about certain places in North India are the security checkpoints to get into certain places, like the malls, monuments, historical sites, museums. I mean, there's all kinds of places you just never know. Sometimes you can't even bring your car keys in. So we're going to Lotus Temple today, which is this beautiful Baha'i temple composed of marble, and just, it looks amazing. I don't know if you can bring the camera in. Like, if I bring the camera in, are they gonna make me leave? Come back here.
Okay, so tell us how that went.
Whew, we got everything in minus our orange juice. We had an unopened one from McDonald's, so I threw it in our bag. And the lady's like, "No, you can't take it in, like, finish it." I'm like, "I don't want it. Like, it's not opened."
Please take it, have it. But I guess it's probably like you can't take gifts or something like that, you know, like because they're workers. I was like, no, seriously, like, I don't care if you sell it, like, just take it. It's not wasted.
Yeah.
Baha'i is a recent religious development, an offshoot from Islam, focusing on peace, love, and the unity of humankind. The grounds are very nicely maintained. Weekday mornings are a good time to visit because the crowds are quite a bit less. The structure is very beautiful from the outside. You couldn't use a camera indoors, but honestly it doesn't quite elicit the same sense of awe from inside as it does from outside. And during the hot season without a cooling system, it's pretty hot. So unless you're a fan of penance meditation, you're probably not going to find much time or inkling to do much meditating inside. The words of Baha'u'llah and the Bab are posted around the inside of the structure on small signs. Most of them speak of the need for peace and compassion, goodness, and nonviolence. But just outside, the human capacity for conflict was on display as heat-slapped visitors found the beautiful pools too tempting to resist and began dipping their feet in the water. Didn't blame them. For some time, the watchman was nowhere to be found, and people enjoyed their feet dipping until the watchman showed back up and cut through all that peace and quiet and stillness with whistling and yelling. Compounding the urge to dip one's feet in the water is the policy of leaving one's shoes below. This is fine for the most part because there's a cloth path leading up to the temple itself, but there are those blank spaces and the tile is hot.
No cover on the steps, huh? So it's gonna roast my feet coming down.
Didn't notice many Indians who were bothered by this, but my wussy Ferengi feet were on fire. So if you're coming to the Lotus Temple, bring some socks. The information center is really nice though. They have some nice displays dedicated to showing the cross-pollination in world religion and the unifying threads Baha'i is dedicated to. There's also film available in multiple languages. Definitely give the Lotus Temple a visit, but for maximum effect, try to come when it's cooler.
He's like, I just can't handle it anymore.
Oh yeah, that's safe.
Rohan, meanwhile, has been playing with my iPhone quite a bit. This has resulted in him recording videos like this. He still has a way to go on shot setups, but what the kid lacks in production, he makes up for in post-production. One day I happened to be checking a different Google account, and lo and behold, a video had been uploaded a few days before. It turns out Rohan had opened the YouTube Capture app on my iPhone, uploaded a video Melissa had taken a few days before at Sarojini Nagar Market, and even given it a name. Apparently he's been filling out too many captchas because the name doesn't necessarily make sense, but then again maybe he's developed an early penchant for some advanced form of math that I never reached in school. Either way, Rohan has already uploaded his first video to YouTube, so he's way ahead of me when I was his age.
Yeah. Is it Dada? Is it...
So Delhiites and Moonbikers, what do you do to alleviate stress in the hot season? Do you have any tips for those of us traveling through or living here for the first time to make the hot season more bearable? Other than, of course, leaving, which is what a lot of people do. If you got any tips, leave them in the comments. I want to say a special thank you to all of you who support the show. We just crossed our $100 per episode threshold, so thank you everyone for supporting the show. If you'd like to see this show get even better, please consider supporting us or at least sharing our Patreon page. The link is in the description. Our goal is to make this show more focused on discovering Indian culture, and every bit of support will help us achieve that goal. Until next time, remember to keep it creative, keep it cross-cultural, and keep it constructive, YouTube. Thank you very much.